Hi friends, today we're going to do my less than 10-minute writing exercise that will improve your writing by expanding your vocabulary. I've selected 3 words for us to play around with. We're going to use each one of these words in a sentence so we can better understand them by putting them into context. I will give you general definitions, but I've also included links below to Merriam-Webster's website where you can find the formal definitions and pronunciations. The 3 words I've selected for us to play around with today are benign, revel, and impresario. Benign, revel, and impresario. All right, let's get started with benign. And benign is an adjective, a word that describes, and it means non-threatening to health or life. Okay, the man was relieved when the doctors told him that his tumor was benign. I'm sure some of you may have heard this before. When you have a benign tumor, a tumor that is non-threatening to someone's health or life. So this fellow, I imagine, is very happy and relieved. Let's move on to revel. And revel can either be a verb, an action word, or a noun, a word that represents a person, place, or a thing. And it means to carouse, or it also means intense pleasure or satisfaction, or in the case of a noun, wild party or celebration. All right, let's first use revel as a verb. She reveled in her test scores that placed her at the top of the class. So this girl, or woman, she's very excited and very overjoyed. She reveled, she took intense pleasure and satisfaction that she got great test scores and putting her at the top of her class. So let's use revel as a noun. The townspeople gathered in the square for their annual revel. So you can imagine the townspeople gathered in the square for their annual celebration, a wild celebration, joyful celebration. In that case, you might say celebration rather than revel, but you could use revel. Let's move on to impresario. And impresario is just a noun, a word that represents a person, place, or a thing. And it means a manager or director who typically puts on or sponsors entertainment. Okay, let's see. He was a beloved impresario and longtime supporter of the opera and loved by everyone in the industry. So you can imagine this fellow who helps produce or directs or manages opera, and he's also a supporter, probably personally financial supporting of opera. And he's beloved in the industry. People really like him. He's probably a really nice guy. Anyway, he's a beloved impresario, a person who manages or directs some form of entertainment. Anyway, 3 wonderful, interesting words: benign, revel, impresario. Play around with them. Make them part of you so they're accessible to you when you write. If you enjoyed this writing exercise, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and happy writing.